In this video, I'm going to walk you through an example of factoring using the AC method. I call it the AC method because if this is my A coefficient, my B coefficient, and my C coefficient, I use my value of A and I multiply it by my value of C, and I use that number to come up with the combination that will help me factor this. So if I take 12, which is my A, times C, which is my -6, my AC gives me a -72. So what I need to do is make a factor table and figure out what factors of -72 will add to give me this middle term, 1z. So I know that my factors are going to have to be plus and minus, so that when I multiply them together, I get a -72. And I want the difference to be a 1 because I want to get 1 in the middle. So the first numbers that come to mind for me for 72 is 9 and 8. That has a difference of 1, and one of them needs to be plus and one of them needs to be minus, so it multiplies to give me -72. But I want it to add to give me a positive 1 in the middle. So I'm going to make my 8 negative. That way when I take a 9 and a -8, I get a positive 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this combination to rewrite this middle term. So instead of writing it as positive 1z, I'm going to write it as 9z and a -8z. And then all I'm going to do is bring down my first term and my last term. So I rewrote that plus z as a 9z and a -8z. Now I have it in a form that I can use grouping because I have 4 terms. So I have 2 terms here and 2 terms here. So what I need to do now is factor out what's in common from each of these 2 terms separately. So 12z squared plus 9z, both of those have a 3z in common. And what's left over would be a 4z plus 3. Now I want to make sure that I get the same parentheses for the second set of terms. So I need to figure out what should I put in front here. So when I multiply by 4z plus 3, I get -8z minus 6. So that would have to be a -2. If I put a -2 in front and I take -2 times 4z, that will give me the 8z. And a -2 times a positive 3 will give me a -6. Now that I've done that, I can see that they both have a 4z plus 3 in common. So I pull out the 4z plus 3, and when I do that, I get rid of this, but what's left over is 3z minus 2. And now I have it completely factored, and I can tell that it's completely factored because I have no pluses and minuses on the outside of parentheses, and I can't pull anything out of these parentheses that they have in common. So this is our final product. So 12z squared plus z minus 6 in factored form would be 4z